Welcome to my channel, where we discuss everything and all things politics, economy, and development in Nigeria and around the world. In this video, we're going to look at the top 10 faults identified by Professor of Law, Professor Chidi Odinkalu, on the Supreme Court ruling on the Rivers State crisis. Professor Chidi Odinkalu is an internationally renowned professor of law who has taught law in Nigeria and abroad, including the United States. So he examined the Supreme Court ruling or judgment on the Rivers State crisis, and we are doing here is identifying the top 10 faults he found with that judgment. Number one, lack of reasoning in the judgment. He said that the judgment, from what he identified, he said, number one, lack of reasoning in the judgment. The Supreme Court failed to provide any justification for its orders, leaving its rulings open to accusations of bias or transactional influence. Number two, punishing the people instead of the politicians. According to Professor Chidi Odinkalu, the order to withhold Rivers State funds from the federation account harms the people rather than resolving the political dispute. It harms the people, of course. You and I know that when allocations are withheld, it is the people that will suffer, because salaries will not be paid, contractors will not be paid, there will be crisis, and the people will suffer. And that was exactly what will happen with that kind of judgment. That's what Professor Odinkalu identified as one of the flaws of that judgment, the withholding of these allocations of Rivers State. That order, he didn't approve of it. It was wrong. Number three, short-circuiting an ongoing legal process. That judgment short-circuited ongoing judgments or ongoing legal processes, because according to him, the Supreme Court made determinations on the legality of defection or the legality of defecting lawmakers despite ongoing litigation in the matter, interfering with the appellate process. You remember that even when this judgment came out, Simi Fubara himself was thinking that the judgment did not include the defection of the lawmakers, but apparently it included it. Professor Odinkalu said that it's not supposed to be so, since this matter is in the lower court or the appellate court. Why did they have to interfere on that matter? So he said that that judgment was a short-circuiting an ongoing legal process. It was a short-circuiting of an ongoing process. The Supreme Court made determinations on the legality of defecting lawmakers despite ongoing litigation on the matter, interfering with appellate process. Number four, fault that was found in that judgment delivered by the Supreme Court is that there was judicial overreach and bias. Chidi Odinkalu identified judicial overreach and bias. He said that the court took sides in a political dispute rather than focusing strictly on legal principles compromising its impartiality. The court took sides in a political dispute rather than focusing strictly on legal principles, compromising its impartiality. In other words, saying that the court exhibited partiality in that judgment. Number 5, contradicting precedent without acknowledging it. Contradicting precedent without acknowledging it. He cited, for example, that in 2015, a 7-man member panel of the Supreme Court ruled that defecting lawmakers automatically lose their seats unless their party is hopelessly factionalized. The current 5-member panel ignored and effectively overruled this without reference. You got that? The current Supreme Court overruled previous precedent that was set in 2015. Overruled it without reference. That's what Professor Odinkalu found out as part of the faults that was identified in that Supreme Court judgment. That many Nigerians, most Nigerians, they did not agree with that Supreme Court ruling. You can bet. You can go to the streets and do opinion poll. Number 6, fault that Chidi Odinkalu found with the Supreme Court judgment is that stripping the judiciary of its powers. The judgment stripped the judiciary of its powers. Now, according to Chidi Odinkalu, the ruling declared that only the legislature can declare a seat vacant due to defection, sidelining both the courts and the governor, which weakens the judiciary's role in upholding constitutional law. Number 7, fault that Professor Chidi Odinkalu identified in that judgment was that there was a misapplying of legal standard. Misapplying of legal standards. The court, according to Professor Odinkalu, the court incorrectly applied legal precedent meant for impeachment proceedings to the legislative process, distorting constitutional requirements. This number 7, we're going to look at it very well by the time we get to number 10, because it's very important. Misapplying legal standard. The court incorrectly applied legal precedent meant for impeachment proceeding to the legislative process, distorting constitutional requirement. Because here he was talking about how the court used the standard they use for impeachment to deliver judgment on a case of budget presentation. We're going to look into that. But that's one of the faults that Professor Odinkalu found with the judgment. Number 8, unprecedented speed in delivering judgment. According to Professor Odinkalu, the case was rushed through. The case was rushed through the judicial system at an unusual pace, raising concern whether due diligence was followed. Here he was saying that there was a rush by the Supreme Court to deal with this matter, which raises question about whether due diligence was taken in getting to the judgment that they delivered. Number 9, Chief Justice questionable ties to Wike. Chief Justice's questionable ties to Wike. The Chief Justice of Nigeria previously engaged in activities linked to Wike, casting doubts on the impartiality of the court's ruling. Of course, you and I know that Professor Odinkalu has in a previous time talked about the ill-advised tie allegedly between the Chief Justice of Nigeria and the judges, especially when Nyesom Wike provided a land for them, for their houses to be built for them and all that. So that's what one of the faults he found with this judgment. Then number 10, a historical parallel of injustice. Professor Odinkalu identified a historical parallel of injustice. So what in fact, in other words, the summary of it that what was delivered in Rivers State was an injustice. So now he made the parallel, taking us back to this kind of judgment that was obtained in the past. So according to him, the ruling was likened to the colonial era exile of King Jaja of Opobo, where judicial power was used to politically eliminate a leader seen as inconvenient to vested interests. So these are the top 10 faults that Professor Chidi Odinkalu, in his review of the judgment of the Supreme Court on the Rivers State crisis, which had been of interest to many Nigerians. And in that number 10, he was categorical that injustice was delivered to Rivers State people and their governor. Now that number 7, that the Supreme Court misapplied what was supposed to be applying impeachment procedure with budget procedure, which he said was wrong. What was the quorum you need in the House to impeach a governor is different from the quorum you need to be able to present a budget. But the Supreme Court used the quorum for impeachment as a yardstick to measure the presentation of the budget. That was what they used in ruling against Simi Fubara for presenting the budget to 4 lawmakers who did not defect from PDP to APC. So Odinkalu was saying that was wrong. That judgment was wrong. That position of the Supreme Court was wrong. And from his statement, from his analysis of it or review of it, the Supreme Court ruling not only misapplied legal precedent, but also created a new dangerous legal doctrine that could be exploited to destabilize governance in Nigeria. By using an impeachment standard for a budgetary process, the court distorted constitutional requirements, undermined legislative authority, and handed undue powers to defected lawmakers. This mistake must be corrected to preserve the integrity of Nigeria's legal and political institutions. That's a summary of Professor Chidi Odinkalu's review of the Supreme Court judgment on Rivers State crisis. And his final verdict was that injustice was delivered to Rivers people and their governor. And you can go and read the full detail of his analysis and review of the Supreme Court ruling on Rivers State. What we did was to give you a summary, a breakdown. We broke it down to 10 points. But you can go and read it. It's available on Premium Times. It's available on it's a Professor Odinkalu is a syndicated columnist. It's also available on Guardian and other places. So go and read it. So you see the details of his intervention and review of the Supreme Court judgment on Rivers State, which in summary, he said, delivered injustice to Rivers people, similar to what was delivered to King Jaja of Opobo, who incidentally was a son of Rivers State. Although when he was alive, there was still no Nigeria and there was no Rivers State. But there was an oil river where King Jaja of Opobo was a merchant of oil who competed with the Europeans. Remember, King Jaja of Opobo, I will do something about him soon. He was a dealer in palm oil that stopped the Europeans from trading in the hinterland. He was a man of wisdom. He needs to be studied. But that is aside. But basically, these are the 10 points that we got from Professor Chidi Odinkalu's analysis of or review of the Supreme Court ruling. What is your position? Do you agree with Professor Odinkalu that, like King Jaja of Opobo, this Supreme Court delivered injustice to people of Rivers State and Governor Simi Fubara? What is your position? Let's hear from you at the comment section. Thank you for watching this video. And if you are new to my channel, you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. And please don't forget to like this video, because when you like it, Google will rank it high and recommend it for more people. Thank you, and God bless you and yours.